I'm going to get into the session for Hope and let you guys hear it, show you guys the whole process. This is the session. It's actually pretty organized. Usually my sessions are not this organized. So I'm going to go over how this track came about. In the beginning of the pandemic, I was in a vibe, and so I was making a bunch of lo-fi. I was thinking about putting out a lo-fi album, which didn't happen. This track was real cool. I'll show you how we did it. So I started it with the keys. And how the keys came about, the homie Ledge Keys, who you all know, he was on the stream last week. He sent me a bunch of MIDI to just do whatever I want with. And so I literally took his MIDI file and I just loaded it up and just started freaking it like it was a sample. The first thing I started with was piano. And I got the piano from Spitfire Labs. It's a free plugin. I use the soft piano preset. Put some RC20 on it, of course. Every lo-fi track needs that. Sidechained it to the kick and put a little sketch cassette on it, just to give it some grit. And this is what the piano sounds like. And as it went on, I added some more keys. Keyscape, in this case. And I added a dry Celeste and ended up adding some Valhalla reverb into it. And I added erosion to kind of give it this old school sampler kind of feel. So let's hear it without erosion. Very clean. With erosion, it kind of gives it this gritty 12-bit kind of feel. Next track, I added Choir from Spitfire, another free sound. And you can hear the whole group is sidechained to the kick. With the piano. And the next track, I added just some strings, some contact strings. And I added them with the dynamics knob pretty low, so they're a little softer. And this is the string track. Everything is super sidechained to the kick. And then I just added some vocals from Arcade. From there, after I did the keys, I did the kick and clap. Since this beat is very minimal, literally just a kick and clap. Kick, a Chromanichi kick here. The snare is from Drums That Knock Volume 9. Simple. Kick, snare, kick, snare. It's just super gritty, super dark. Especially the snare. I did a lot of processing on the snare just to give it this real lo-fi vibe. Cut a lot of the top end, added some distortion, added some cassette plugins, just went in. And then with the keys, it just sounds smooth, simple. And then 808. And I cut a lot of the top end off the 808. This 808 ended up in Drums That Knock Volume 9 with the drums. Next, I wanted to add some sauce. And so I added some percussion from Drums That Knock Volume 8 and 9. I just took like one piece of the Witch Doctor loop, cut the low frequencies, cut the high frequencies, sidechained it to the kick, then added some tambourine texture. I didn't sidechain the snare, just the kick. Then with the keys, with the 808, with the drums. This is where it kind of builds up. This track has a lot of energy. It just keeps building and building and building. So at this point, I was like, I think this is a good fit for the What's Your Superpower project. So this is when I sent it over to Seb Zillner. And he gave me back a bunch of fire, and I'm going to show you what he played. I have two groups for Seb's stuff, sax and flute. And I'll show you guys the processing I did and what the individual track sounds like. First, this is the flute. Check it out with nothing. And that sidechain to the kick also. And now let's hear the second flute track. That other track just gave it more body. And so for the flute, what I did to process it is I added some reverb, added this plugin called Fresh Air by Slate, free plugin, added a little bit of compression, about 10 decibels. I put the threshold at negative 10, 10.8. Added a cassette plugin, added an RC20. This is my sidechain to the kick. Sketch cassette, and cut some of the lows. I did a lot of processing for color because what Seb sent me was actually very clean, and because this track is very dirty, I just wanted to bring it into that sphere. This is how he sent it. Very clean recording, well done. And then this is with the effects chain. I was going for the feel to try to make it gritty and to fit the track, because the track, all the elements are distorted, gritty, kind of up in like a very pleasing old school way. So I wanted to bring it into that sphere. And Seb sent me a bunch of dope sax, so let me show you guys the sax. Next sax track. And you can see they build up over time. And the next sax track. Oof. And then with everything. Flute and the sax. And then the next track, Seb did a solo on the sax. With the beat. All the sax together. And that is the track, y'all. As far as the master, I had a master that I did. This is the one that I did. It's not the actual one that got released. Put this out on a record label, Playground, and they offered to do some mastering, so I was like, yeah, sure. How I sent it was I sent it at about -6 decibels. So this is what I sent them to master. So really, I just have a little bit of glue compression on the master and Gullfoss, and that's it. That was Hope by myself and the homie Seb Zillner, who's going to be calling in any second now. We're going to bring him on the stream and chat about how the track came to be, and we're going to see what he's been up to. What's good, my man?
Yo, all good, man. It's great to see you.
Yo, it's good to have you, bro. For anyone on the stream who does not know, this is the homie Seb Zillner. He's a multi-instrumentalist, super dope. What instruments do you play, man?
I play a bunch of instruments, but I'm known for playing woodwind instruments and sax and flute predominantly. So,
On this track, Seb played incredible sax, incredible flute. It just sounds fire, man. So I just want to talk a little bit about how we met and just let people know it, because we met in an interesting way. It's not necessarily how people always meet.
For sure, man, yeah.
So I think it was in 2018. We were at this event called the Playlist Retreat, which is held by DJ Jazzy Jeff. Every year he has a playlist retreat, and I've been going for a few years now. And we were kicking it, and we just vibed. So we ended up staying in touch. I went out to L.A. because Seb is based in L.A., and we just vibed out. We made some beats. And for this track, I was saying this was going to be a part of my project. And I sent it to you. I said, just do your thing. And he came back with some crazy shit. Played some flute, played some saxophone. What are you working on these days?
It's a bunch of things. People usually hit me up for, doing woodwinds. So that's what I'm doing right now as well. But, producing a couple of things for myself, like for releases towards the future. But yeah, nothing set in stone yet, but always working on it.
That's dope, man. And you've been killing it lately. Your Spotify, 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. Like, your shit's going up, man.
Sure.
How has that been? Do you find you're able to make a sustainable income off of releases now that your Spotify has gone up?
Yeah, for sure. It's getting there. It's it's Spotify after all.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But it's getting there.
That's dope,
sure.
Man. I love seeing musicians win off of doing what they love. So it's amazing.
Me too, man. But it's, especially during these times where you can't perform live, any of that stuff, it's just so important that you at least have a leg up on the streaming game. It's a blessing for sure.
100%. So we got a comment from Mostly Ghostly DJ. He said, killed it, Seb, because I just previewed the track for the first time before we jumped on.
Nice.
So I want to open it up for the chat. I want to just see if anyone has any questions about the track, any questions for Seb directly while he's here. John Paulo says, love your sax tone, man.
Thanks, bro. Been working on it for a while.
No doubt. Soifu asked, how did the mixing go with live instruments? Any particular challenges for you guys? I did the initial mix. For me, no. Everything was easy. I have experience mixing live instruments, so it was just a matter of maybe a little bit of EQ, but everything was clean. Everything Seb sent me was clean. Live instruments are easy to mix most of the time. I find that things that are recorded with a microphone just seem to fit well into a track for the most part. Fly Alpaca asked, how much time do you think this took overall to finish? Not that long, right?
No, I don't think so. It was funny. You told me when you wanted me to be on the stream, I was thinking about how this whole process of this track came about. As soon as you sent me those files, that you initially wanted to have for your release, I went over this track and I was like, damn, this is calling for some painter, kind of like painting strokes rather than crazy fast lines and crazy jazz lines or whatever, It just came about really quick.
You first listened to it, you kind of got a feel for what it was going to be. You knew it would be some painting strokes, real smooth. When you did it, was it one take and it was done, or was it a bunch of takes? How was the process for you?
Usually I just improvise over it, and then there's already in the first one you have a couple of lines that are sticking, and then you just go with that. Yeah. And then I just added on, but it was fairly quick because that first take was almost spot on for me. So the rest was just, everything around.
Amazing. For the beat, it was similar. I probably made the beat in a half an hour, to be honest. Shout out to Ledge Keys. He actually did the keys on the track. It was his MIDI files. And I just pretty much brought it in, made some adjustments, and did some drums.
Yeah, but bro, let me tell you that. Your sound design is on point, man.
Oh, my man.
On point.
Appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it, man. It was a fun process because, with me, when I make beats, a lot of times I just go with the flow. People watch me make beats on the stream all the time. So it's I don't know what the heck I'm trying to do. I don't have any ideas. I just go into it and just vibe, just make music because music is fun. This track came together almost like pure chance. We felt it, and I'm glad you actually pushed it to get released. It was going to be on the album, but I felt like it didn't energetically fit with some of the other ones, but this is perfect for a one-off, and it's a little different for me. I'm not typically doing a lot of lo-fi stuff, but I think it's fire, and I think people are going to vibe with it.
It is, yeah. It's its own thing, man. Yeah. I love the vibe so much to it. I'm glad you were on board with that for sure. That track had to come out.
It's a testament to, we got to make sure we don't let too much music sit on the hard drive. Because I got to be honest, I have about 3,000 tracks just sitting on my hard drive right now that need to get released.
For sure, bro. Push yourself. Get it out there. You got fire all the time, man. Don't overthink it, man.
Don't overthink it. We have some more questions. Verseless asks, do you freestyle solos until you find the pocket with a track?
Yeah, basically. That's what I'm doing. I'm just going through it without overthinking it, just like trying to vibe with the track. And I don't have an issue with the pocket. It's more like the lines fitting into the track rather than me just flowing on top of it. I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be just feel detached from everything.
3RO5IC. What did you guys use for the Foley in the track? They add so much texture. This will be a little plug, but the Foley is from Drums That Knock Volume 8 and Drums That Knock Volume 9. I played a bunch of different little instruments. I had this sundress that I bought in Northern Africa, actually, and it has all these little beads on it. Just sounds really good when you drop it into your hand. So I did that. I like to collect little Foley, and I just think it sounds good on tracks, so I try to do that whenever I can, especially for vibey tracks like this.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Verseless asks, did you have a melody in your head that you aim to achieve?
It needs to come naturally. I never try to force anything.
Same here.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right. It's not me if I do that, you know?
Absolutely. Beano2677, what DAW do you use, Seb?
Ableton.
You're an Ableton. Hey, Ableton gang, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Did you use Logic at one point?
I did. I sometimes still do if I shoot quick videos. Usually if I produce or if I get tracks sent, I always do everything on Ableton because of the workflow and, you know, how everything's set up. It's pretty logical for me.
Got you. No pun intended on Logic.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. You said when you do quick videos, you use Logic. Why is Logic better for those quick videos? Is there anything?
Oh, I just set it up that way. It's just the template that I have. When I started out doing my improv videos, I set up a template in Logic. That's the first thing that I reach for. I never really bothered to set anything up in Ableton for that.
Got you.
And also, another reason why is sometimes Ableton has some video issues. I don't know if you've ever come across that. Yeah, like some video sync issues that I've been running into. And also the editing. Yeah.
Okay, so you do video editing in Ableton too sometimes.
Word.
Got you. I've only done a couple things in Ableton. I scored an ad in Ableton, and it worked fine, but I don't have enough experience with it to know the issues with it. But that's good to know. I usually use Final Cut when I'm doing video stuff, occasionally when I do it. Armin Beats asked, what is the setup for recording woodwinds? Mic, preamps? So like what mic, what preamps do you use?
I use condenser mic. Right now I'm using the Austrian Audio OC18. It's a condenser mic. It's a pretty new company, and that goes into my Neve Portico 5017. It has to be like a mobile setup for me because I'm just traveling around so much, even like from studio, from space to space. And then it goes into my Apollo Twin. It's a very, very, very quick and clean setup.
And it's perfect. You can take it on the road. It sounds great. Apollo has so many effects built in. You could throw a classic compressor emulation on it. No latency. It's great. I have an Apollo X8 as the centerpiece of my routing. I love that thing.
Clean preamps on those things.
Mostly Ghostly DJ said, def need some more knockin' lo-fi beats in my life. Let's go. John Paulo, we getting another Seb and DECAP collab in the future? I got to say, I'm down. If you're down, I'm down.
Anytime, man. You know where to find me. I'm ready.
And matter of fact, I didn't even mention this, but you're all over What's Your Superpower, too.
On the title track.
On the title track. So Seb Zillner's on the title track, y'all. Listen to that. You did sax and flute on that joint. We got plenty of music to write, man.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. This is just the beginning.
Seb, I want you to let the people know where they can follow you. I need you guys to go and follow Seb. He's got a lot of dope content on his Instagram. Super talented, lots of dope videos. And follow him on Spotify, too. Where can people follow you on Instagram?
Seb Zillner, just straight up.
I'm going to go ahead and add it on the screen.
That would be dope. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
My name is a little bit weird, so
So make sure you guys go ahead and follow Seb Zillner on Instagram. I have it up on the screen. And follow him on Spotify. And go ahead and bump our track. Seb, thank you for joining us today. It's good to connect with you on the stream. Sounds like we have lots more music to do, man. Let's get it. Let's keep going.
Thanks for having me, man. And yeah, let's get more in for sure.
Yes, sir. Peace, bro.
Peace.
You guys heard it here. Seb Zillner. Super talented, multi-instrumentalist. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Spotify. He's got a lot of dope music, a lot of dope content. DECAP.